being an entrepreneur is a 24/7 job. And when you're hiring, you need a partner that works as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. For one thing, there you could post a job. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people. You get qualified candidates. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your business is the quality of the candidates. And with LinkedIn, of course, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small and medium businesses say using LinkedIn helps them find high quality candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Altucher. That's linkedin.com/Altucher to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Today on The James Altucher Show.
In order to become the best writer in the world, you have to spend many years as a horrible writer believing you're the best writer in the world. Because to write a book, as you know, is really hard.
I usually tell them only do it if you'll, regret it for the rest of your life. Because that's the, regrets of the dying, so to speak.
I'm going to have a quest. I'm going to figure out what happened at the beginning of time. So now, okay, what are the steps? I'm going to build this. This quest fills me with joy, and progress on this quest fills me with joy, and I'm going to make progress and feel joy every step of the way.
There are so few books about non-nonsense nowadays, like not about string theory or not about like multiple universes. Most of the science books are about those things because they can't be proven. So the author will never be proven wrong in his lifetime.
This isn't your average business podcast, and he's not your average host. This is The James Altucher Show.
So, James, there's a famous statement by Talmudic scholars that really echo what I think it takes to be a great scientist is to have both humility and be humble, but also a lot of chutzpah and courage. Because if you're only humble, you won't feel that you can accomplish and take on the greatest warrior of all time, which is Mother Nature. Like Mother Nature does not give up her secret. It's very hard to win a Nobel Prize, to discover something new, to prove a new law, theorem, or whatever. But on the other hand, if you're only humble, you won't have that, that kind of swagger. Let's just say swagger, not arrogance, because arrogance gets a bad name. So there's a famous passage in the Talmud, and it says a man should have two pockets. On one pocket, he should have the statement from the Bible that the whole world was created for me, just for me. And the other pocket should say, I'm nothing but dust and ashes. Because if you don't have that, you will not be humble and you will be arrogant, and then you're prone to the fall that pride always goes before. So it's very interesting to note that you are also echoing that in some ways you are the best writer in the world, right? I mean, let's not be falsely humble, but you're not the best writer in all categories in the world, right? You wouldn't say that.
Right. But what's interesting there is that, and then this kind of goes side by side with the Dunning-Kruger effect. Like, think about writing. In order to become forever, I'm not even saying about me or anyway, in order to become the best writer in the world, you have to spend many years as a horrible writer believing you're the best writer in the world. Because to write a book, as you know, is really hard. You have to sit down and write like 1,000 words a day for, let's say, hundreds of days. And then, of course, that's before the 18 rewrites to have a finished copy, and combined with the humility to do the editing and the format and everything that's required to put together a book. And then, by the way, your first effort is going to suck.
Totally.
Like, there's no way to avoid it. And like, I wrote at least 3 or 4 books before I would say I even got a glimmer of skill into writing. But every step of the way, I thought I was the best. So I was lying to myself. And you have to be able, that Dunning-Kruger blindness is so important to excellence. So either you have this kind of humility combined with confidence where you can do that, or you have to be arrogant combined with stupidity in order to do that. One or the other. And so I don't know if it's the Talmudic advice or just being arrogant and stupid at the same time, the Dunning-Kruger solution that does it, but you have to have one or the other.
Exactly. Yeah, I do believe that, without equal amounts of both, so to speak, we can't really make any progress. And to me, these laureates that I talked to, I said, earlier, only 2 of the 22 I've ever interviewed said, yes, of course, I knew I was going to win the Nobel Prize. I should have won it earlier. I won't say who they are, but, people might be able to figure it out. But the rest were like, no, I really didn't believe I would win it. Barry Barish, who wrote the foreword with you on the first volume, he said that he had the Nobel Prize imposter syndrome. In other words, he didn't feel like he should have won the Nobel Prize after he won the Nobel Prize. So, how bad can it get? Because he thought Einstein was in a different universe than him. He didn't belong in this same, universe, let alone the same book of Nobel laureates as he was in. So, yeah, I think it's important to have those balances. Don't be falsely humble. But at the same time, these people are so interesting and so determined. But my whole thing is nowadays resilience, like the David Goggins portrayal when you interviewed him, is just so fascinating. But I don't know that it directly applies. Just keep toughing out. I mean, we don't have Buds Week, SEAL Team 6, and you're just in water and freezing water for a week straight, and then attrition, just naturally sets in. We do have, kind of qualifying exams, and we have, other things meant to, kind of weed out, but it's not exactly like the Hunger Games the way the Navy is. And nor do I think it should be. But at the same time, people should go into it with open eyes that this isn't you should only do it if you can't see not doing it. When someone asks me, they want to go back to grad school, they didn't go to grad school after undergrad, as most people do who go through grad school at least. They want to go back. I usually tell them only do it if you'll, regret it for the rest of your life. Because that's the, regrets the dying, so to speak. Yeah.
And that's true not only for science, obviously. It's true if, should I write a book? Should I not write a book? Should I move to LA and try to become an actor or not? Or, but let me ask you a question, because this is related to my next book. What is the role? There's 2 ways of approaching success, I feel. One is you become obsessed with something, and you talk about this in your book. You become obsessed with something, and like you say, you can't not do it because you're obsessed, and it fills up every part of your brain. It fills up your waking time, and that's how you're able to compete against the people. If they're not obsessed, it's not going to fill up their waking time, and the obsessed person will compete successfully against the not obsessed person. But the other thing is to approach things like a quest, which is, I'm going to have a quest. I'm going to figure out what happened at the beginning of time. So now, okay, what are the steps? I'm going to build this. This quest fills me with joy, and progress on this quest fills me with joy, and I'm going to make progress and feel joy every step of the way. I mean, they're both really analogies, but what do you think is more important for success, or what's more interesting to read as a book, The Power of Obsession or The Power of Quest?
Well, so my friend Ali Abdal, who's a big YouTuber and podcaster, he wrote a blurb on the back of the book, and his book is called Feel Good Productivity. And he wrote Professor Keating's book, Surprising Habits, Mental Models, and Mindset Shifts, shared by dozens of Nobel Prize winners. Keating reveals the hidden scaffolding of genius and how anyone can adopt it to do their life's best work. It's a masterclass in focus from those who have changed the world. The reason I interviewed him is because he quotes in his book, Feel Good Productivity, Donna Strickland, the famous Nobel laureate who invented LASIK surgery techniques, and who refused to be unlike you, rather. She refused to write the foreword because she's too damn busy boxing her time, doing deep work, as my friend Cal Newport, who also wrote a blurb, very honored to have all these blurbs on the back, but they're all productivity blurbs. And, he says in his book, quoting her, that the most important trait she had was play. Winning the Nobel Prize, he says in his book about her, felt like play. And so I quote that in my book. So in other words, do what passes the time so quickly. Do what gets you in that flow state, because you can't I don't know anyone who gets in a flow state, getting a colonoscopy, right? I mean, maybe there are people that's kind of sick, but and thank God that people do it. Here's an example. I have a good friend, goes to the same temple I go to. He's a pediatric neuroscientist. That means he deals with kids and he operates on kids that have brain tumors. Sometimes they're inoperable, and he has to tell the parents that. I don't think he's ever in a flow state, James. And so now he's like, maybe I should leave. I feel horrible for him. He comes home and he's depressed, and he's, and I couldn't do. I hope he doesn't, because it would be a blow to the world and these kids. But I wouldn't blame him if he did. But I don't know why he got into that field, in knowing how sensitive he was. Maybe it came upon him less as a kid and more as an adult with his own kids. The thing I would say is, you want to go for that thing that gets you into that flow state that you would do for free, because, as they say, do what you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. And then people say because you'll be unemployed.
Take a quick break. If you like this episode, I'd really, really appreciate it. It would mean so much to me. Please share it with your friends and subscribe to the podcast. Email me at altucher@gmail.com and tell me why you subscribed. Thanks. So things have gotten really busy for me lately, and I've asked for it. Like, I'm doing all things I love doing and wanting to do, but I'm very busy and I have to be focused on every single thing. And some of these things that I do during the day, like basically, I'm helping run 3 different businesses, plus I'm doing 3 podcasts a week, and I have to read and prepare for each podcast. I'm writing a book. Those are just like my professional career things. And then I'm doing all sorts of other things. And I often have to switch from meeting to meeting to meeting, and my brain has to stay focused. And I don't want to take any stimulants that's going to get me like overhyped or overstimulated and not. I really want to function optimally. I don't think this is going to last forever. Well, I hope it doesn't last more than a month like this. But basically, I had to figure out what to do. And I really can't highly recommend enough Huel, Huel, and their Black Edition powder. It's like a complete meal. So you feel full, focused, and I feel more ready for the day. Like, it actually works. So at less than $3 per meal, it's packed with 40 grams of plant-based protein and 27 essential vitamins and minerals, no added sugar, gluten-free, tastes great with flavors like salted caramel and chocolate. Plus, it keeps me full for hours. That's key. I don't want to be like hungry during all these meetings. And it's perfect for breakfast, lunch, or post-workout. And just when you thought Huel had everything covered, they just dropped a first-of-its-kind super greens drink in a can. And it's called the Huel Daily Greens Ready to Drink. So you forget powders, forget those pills. This is your daily greens. No mixing, no mess, quick and convenient without compromising nutrients. Don't go for those compromising nutrients. It's sparkling and comes in flavors like blueberry, apple, peach, 42 vitamins, minerals, and superfoods, only 25 calories, 4 grams of fiber, 1 gram of sugar, made by dietitians. So try Huel with 15% off for new customers today using my code Altucher at Huel.com/Altucher. Fuel your best performance with Huel today. Being an entrepreneur is a 24/7 job. And when you're hiring, you need a partner that works as hard as you do. That hiring partner is LinkedIn Jobs. When you clock out, LinkedIn clocks in. LinkedIn makes it easy to post your job for free, share it with your network, get qualified candidates that you can manage all in one place. For one thing, there you could post a job. LinkedIn's new feature can help you write job descriptions and then quickly get your job in front of the right people. You get qualified candidates. At the end of the day, the most important thing to your business is the quality of the candidates. And with LinkedIn, of course, you can feel confident that you're getting the best. Based on LinkedIn data, 72% of small and medium businesses say using LinkedIn helps them find high quality candidates. Find out why more than 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring today. Find your next great hire on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Altucher. That's linkedin.com/Altucher to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Heard of Viagra or Cialis? Maybe you've even tried them. No judgment here from me. But if you're looking for something beyond the usual pill, meet Rugiet Ready. And Rugiet is spelled R-U-G, like rug, and I-E-T. Other companies rely on similar ingredients to support blood flow, but Rugiet Ready is a next-gen prescription treatment designed to help amplify arousal in the brain and increase blood flow. The 3-in-1 formula dissolves under your tongue to absorb fast, so you'll be ready in just 15 minutes on average, not hours, and effects can last up to 36 hours. That means you can stay confident, present, and in control when the moment's right. And if you want proof, over 150,000 men have made the switch, and you could read their customer reviews right on the site. Getting started is simple. Rugiet connects you with a board-certified doctor 100% online, and if prescribed, your treatment ships quickly to your door. Connect with your provider at Rugiet.com/James. You got to use my special code, Rugiet, and I have worked out a deal. So Rugiet.com, that's Rugiet.com/James, to see if a Rougiette-ready prescription is right for you. Just use code JAMES to get 15% off. That's RUGIET.com/James and use promo code JAMES to get 15% off today.
With that, James, I can't wait to hear about your new book. You got to come back on the Into the Empire. Maybe we'll do another one because I do want to explore the attributes of the books because right now, the book sales and book, publishing for science books is very, very challenged, and it's kind of unlike any other time in history. Like, I do feel like it's different. There's so much, teaching and nonfiction you can get from AI or from, blog posts. So like, what are the arguments? Why should I write a book about Jim Simons? What's the market like for it? And how do you do it in a way that doesn't dumb stuff down? I never like to dumb stuff down, but that makes it accessible too. So I hope we can talk about that and your new book. What are you thinking about? What's your inner book publisher and so forth tell you?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, and this has been happening to me a lot lately. A lot of times, let's say I have to give a talk I had this happen the other day. I had to give a talk at Google, and about 2 weeks in advance, I didn't really know what I was going to talk about. And I just kept thinking about it. And literally, no joke, 3 a.m, I wake up and it's as if the talk is downloaded to me. And this has been happening to me more. Like 10 years ago, if you told me people come up with ideas like this, I would have said that's a cliche. But it's been happening to me more and more where I don't know something and I'm just mulling it over. And then unexpectedly, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and figure it out. And so I don't really know the answer. I know the story, and I know roughly the story. I know roughly the amazing adventures I've had in the past couple of years, and I know roughly how I will tell it. I just don't, it hasn't really fully congealed in my brain yet, but I have faith it will at some point and get downloaded in some way. But but part of the process is asking these questions to people I respect and want to hear the answers to.
Well, that reminds me, in the back of the Nobel Prize in physics, the front has Alfred Nobel's image on it. On the back is called the genius of science. So the genius was like this spirit, this goddess that would visit you in the night and make apparitions that would then be perceived as basically effortless and so forth. But I think that kind of is belied by the fact of how hard it is to write a book, how lonely it is to write a book, how incredibly painful. Hemingway said it's like you sit in front of a typewriter and bleed. Nowadays we have Scrivener or Google Docs or whatever, but a lot of stuff hasn't changed. I talked to my agent and, he's basically kind of like discouraging me. Maybe we'll do this for one more minute because I do have to go and have some birthday cake at some point.
Oh, sure.
But he told me, he's like, there are so few books about nonsense nowadays, like not about string theory or not about like multiple universes. Most of the science books are about those things because they can't be proven. So the author will never be proven wrong in his lifetime. Like Stephen Hawking famously wrote tons and tons of nonsense in A Brief History of Time, which is one of the greatest science books of all times. But it's really, he was a salesman. He knew how to pitch something that he couldn't be wrong about, that would stimulate the mind, that would be perennial seller, like Ryan Holiday talks about, because it would never be able to be proven wrong. It's like predicting cold fusion or something. Like, you'll always be right. It's always the future energy source, and it always will be. In this case, my agent, Brockman, Max Brockman, whose dad is John Brockman, or like Titanic.
Oh yeah,
agent.
famous agent.
Yeah, so he's super old New York Jew, kind of agent, just lovely guy, office, and but it's a dying, kind of industry, and they're like, on their logo is like, it has a floppy disk on it. Okay, but I love Max, and he just gives it to me straight. He's like, your book about how the experiment is built is not going to sell. No one's going to care about that because that's like, you can understand it and it's like provable. But if you can write about something that nobody understands, like string theory or, my favorite thing is like quantum entanglement. It's funny that you mentioned I should write this book on quantum computers because that's actually the one implication where quantum entanglement does take place. And people say we do have proof of multiple universes via quantum entanglement as exhibited in quantum computing. I talked with David Deutsch, who's the pioneer of that on my show. But anyway, so now I start to lean towards, well, actually there is a theory of everything. And it has like 9 out of the 10 predictions it makes have been proven. And nobody knows about it. But best of all, Jim Simons invented it. And it's called Chern-Simons theory. And it plays a role in many branches of physics, including quantum computing, but even biology. even geometry and other things.
Chern's Simons, Churns, Simons.
Chern space Simons. So Chern Simons. This is the main accomplishment that Jim Simons had mathematically before he left and started, in the hedge fund world. But this relates the properties of geometry to the properties of topology. So topology is like this coffee cup here. How many holes does it have in it? Like a pretzel has 2. And so if you tried to put a rubber band around it, there are certain pathways that you couldn't deform it into a perfect ball. It would always have a hole in it like a donut. So a cup, a mug is not translational, isomorphic as it's called, to a donut, to a ball, but one of those, Japanese, kind of cups you get at or Chinese restaurant, teacups, those could be squished into a ball. Anyway, Jim showed how you could relate topology to geometry, which is like angles of triangles on a surface. And it turns out that actually the universe may show this property, and it may be related to why we have an arrow of time. In other words, why does time flow in one dimension only? Jim showed is that there's a reason that space has the dimensions it has, but I think with the Simons Observatory, we might be able to prove why time has the arrow that it does have. So I'm going to leave you with that. But that's sort of the bold prediction of my new book, and I think that'll make it more exciting and palatable because this one will be traditionally published. And so this one, the publisher will want to make money. Like my book, I self-published it. I hope I make some money out, but I really hope people read it. But the publisher is going to really want this book to sell rather than just be out there. So anyway, James, love you. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah, happy birthday. Come back again soon.
Just when you thought summer couldn't get any hotter, Pluto TV is turning up the heat with thousands of free movies. Presenting Summer of Cinema. Stream your favorite blockbuster films like Gladiator,
I will have my vengeance.
Good Burger,
This is what I call fast food!
Beverly Hills Cop, The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, and Julie and Julia.
Bon appetit!
All for free on your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.